next week we have to change the schedule a bit. I think we're going to do more on Tuesdays, and Wednesday I have a wedding of my I mentioned, so I guess and the chuppah is at 6:30. Now, why would I care? Because they called me. They want bracha for they take the plumber and give him a bracha. So, but you know what it is, so I have to go there. What can we do? Did you just do what I thought you did? Did you use paper to support the table? That's cool. Gemara says the most best thing, the Gemara in Sukkah, and Beit says, of using an egg to support the leg of a bed. That's like, I'd like to see that done here. Beit Shisham Kavakara Amita. Okay, hello, Mr. Hodges. I like your shirt, Shmuel. Yeah, I feel like summer. Do you golf? Oh. I said yes, it would have worked well. Okay. You know what this is, guys? We are now about to go into surgery. We're going to cut up my. Be careful, just don't snap the wire. Thank you. I saw a sign in Rabbi Sraf's room. No one should touch the door handle with their hands. He's very makpid. It's very nice. You guys should start being. I'm not joking. It's getting worse, and you don't clap, and you're not makpid until Sidayim together with everybody else. And these guys, right? They all wash together. It's like a big balagan. And what happens if one of these guys, his sister is now at school and she's infected, and I don't know. You don't want this. You should be careful. It's no joke. This is Nishkin Litzanis. It's a serious thing. Don't understand people. What can I do? Okay, Peri Dalid. Where steht die Peri Dalid? Oh yeah, Tayyid Mishnah. Ben Zoyma Aimer. This guy, he never got married. And he flipped out. Started learning Kabbalah, and he flipped out to the state, right? Ben Zoyma Aimer, one of the Abish and Chosel Pardes, he didn't do too well. Ben Zoyma Aimer. Eze Chacham Alemid Mikol Adam. You can learn from everybody, even from a truck driver. Any person who teaches me, I become wiser. This is another pasha. People get used to it, to look around and learn from everything. You can learn from you go to a restaurant. You can learn from your neighbors, the way they eat, from the service. It's really, if you really have eyes, it's a real there's a lot to see in the world around you. If you notice things, they're comical, they're tragic. You can mamish write a novel on every time you go on a bus or you wait online for an airplane. Are you kidding? You can describe Bavli Mita Yerushalmi. Different people, different reactions, couples, children. It's very interesting, and you learn a lot. You really do learn a lot. You learn. You see complexities of nature of people. It's not that simple. I knew. Guys, 1 minute. David is bringing me my drug. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, sing a song for me. Thank you so much. Okay. Have I told you that soon cannabis is going to be mutter in Israel, guys? It's going to be mutter in Israel, just like coffee, like whiskey, like this. So cannabis is going to be mutter. But this is a no smoking campus. But the mice, it's going to be legal. They're legal. It's unbelievable. They're going to legalize this thing. Something not to be heard of. Okay. It's you learn from everybody. You're talking about Gibor, a person which was capable of containing and strength, moral character, strength of resisting desires, etc., but living totally by your brain is an enormous exertion. It's an unbelievable exertion. It's actually it's hard. Okay, that's called a Gibor. He's Kaivish Yitzray. It doesn't have to mean any Yetzer, which is negative. The fact that he doesn't live through inclinations, but rather he lives through decision. That's what Kaivish Yitzray. Don't think it means Yetzer Da'arayis. Even the Yetzer, do it because it's right. Okay, that's the chacham behind it. That as Rambam says, the Eibed Me'ava doesn't even do it because it's good. It does it because it's Ratzon Hashem, because it's right. Okay, that's a very hard thing to live by. Okay, so Eisa Gibor, Kaivish Yitzray, Shenemer Teiv Erech Hapayim, person that can constrain his his anger, his angst, his Erech Hapayim. He's willing to have patience. Moishel Baruchai, and a person which is Moishel in his ruach, that literally he governs he's a yogi. He governs his feelings. It's unbelievable. We like it here. It's much harder to do that than conquer a city, which is a davar pasha. Ezo Osher, a person that's really Osher is a Sameach Bechalka. You really have a lot. You have as much as you're happy with. Many people which have a lot and they feel they're always missing. But you see that tzaddik oichel esoy v'nafshay ubetin rishoyim techaser. Betin rishoyim, never enough. He always wants more because Moshe Rabbeinu had the problem with the Jews. The problem was they sought too much. They wanted more and more, but taiva. So betin rishoyim techaser, they'll always not be fulfilled. They'll always be missing, always being frustrated. When you eat the soiver nafshay, it's a ish chacham. So he says he's a Osher Sameach Bechalkai. He's happy with what he has and he works with it. What do you have? You only have that which you make with your hands. Equals the marshal. You're a menial laborer and you make enough to eat. It's all you have. I mean, that's what he's talking. It doesn't mean, oh, Baruch Hashem, you're going to work. If I go to work and make millions, it's nicht gefährlich. It's a schwache Sameach Bechalkai. It means you get kapecha. We're talking in context of the Mishnah. We're talking about the menial laborer, not. And he's working. He's a farmer. He's working for what he's mighty lechem for himself. A bissel revach dort, and that's the kiya kapecha. You're happy. Why? Because any moistness, etc., creates after this obsessive typhus and messes up your value system. And the problem is you end up, it begins with I need it, I want it, I can't live without it. There's 3 stages, okay? You start, you need, then say you want, even if you don't need, and then you can't live without it, then that's called obsessive desires. So he says, you're capable of being mechabed the brios. Brios means to say everybody. It means to say, as we point out multiple times, that kavod means to say the reaction towards a hierarchical reality, that someone has something which is above you. Mechabed is a brios. You should be able to see the uniqueness of every person. Every person has something which you don't have. Nothing to be jealous about, right? He's him, you're you. But it means to say, yes, this truck driver has a certain chachma or a certain sensitivity. Halavai you should have, okay? And this, I don't know what, a person which is race, but when it comes to a certain he has something you mamish don't have. I mean, you think of the Mesiras Nefesh of the young boys in the first years of this country, that they went to war with what? With nothing. Okay? Think of it for 2 minutes. They went to war, they went to Bashit Tov Lamud Badal Tseinu, you know what I mean? Okay, do you have that kind of forever for Avos Hashem, years Hashem? A guy's a chacham, you're loichim milchamta shel Torah. I don't think you lose snipes. You don't get killed because of that. Do you understand? Oh yeah, ani b'tzva Hashem, very nice. Don't see anybody shooting at you at the moment. You know what I mean? You have these sentences that get you very, very angry, and get me very angry. You know what I mean? Be honest, okay? So that's a big thing. It's a tremendous thing that people, sometimes I think about it. It's frightening to think about when they started having these, our Palestinian cousins, if they're Bnei Yishmael, okay, Nish Poshet. Okay, Yish Kama V'Kama Choyker, the thing that came from Africa, it's all right. If the Shtikl Chazaka, the Yishmael, it's not a Vadai, but if they're your cousins, Nafkamina, obviously from Mila, if I'm going to be quite for them on Mila or not, it's a big Nafkamina. Okay, but these Bnei Yishmael, when they started blowing themselves up, for ideological purposes. At the end of the day, they literally are willing to die violently for a purpose which they realize that they will not realize here in this world. And they actually vividly believe in some kind of a paradise up there. It doesn't matter what the paradise is. How many of us are willing to do that without question? I mean, so you can say, yes, of course, nod your head. The guy puts on a vest and goes, boom, and he's like smithereens, you know what I mean? And he said, what is he, a 16-year-old kid? And I think, wow, Alavai, I should be wanting to be Moshe, my taivus for Kavod Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The way these people are Moshe, their nefesh for their ideology. They're not me and I'm not them. I thought about, remember the kid with the kamikazes that killed the first people that did this. They died in order to the honor of the emperor. You think about these things. Yeah, these people have things that we should learn from them. I'm not telling you to blow yourself up for anything. I'm telling you to learn what it means to live with an ideal and willing to, which is so important that nothing else matters. Now, if that idea would be avos v'yirasei, that would be tremendous. That l'mais is the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. That ideal should be as such that if needed, yes, you would get yourself slaughtered. You wouldn't have the question, no doubt. Okay, I'm hoping that God should help that it'll work. Historically, it worked with the Jews, but the moment I don't have that sensitivity, do I? No, I don't think so. It's all up in the theory. You know what I mean? At the moment, these guys are mamish Moshe nefesh. But how many people are Moshe, less sleeping and less eating and less comfort to understand the Blat Gemara? So we should learn from them. That's what I'm trying to say. Mechabed is abrios. You have to be mechabed these people. I feel small compared to some of these people that they're willing to do these things. I feel small compared to the people that founded this state and Tifnus Nefesh Gomer. I feel very small. Today, everyone's, he's a koifer, he's a this, he's a koifer, he's into hate, you know what I mean? I know one thing, the Gemara says that Omri, you know what Omri was? Omri's Achav's dad. He was a freaking Ovid of Avodah. Man, this guy messed up the religious life here terribly. But he goes into Ilam Abba, Gemara Sanhedrin. Why? Because he built one town, one city in Eretz Yisrael. Now, can you imagine about people that built the whole Eretz Yisrael and they're not Avodah Zorah? I don't know if there's enough Elam Ha before them. Anyone I'm saying soon is Chav Tammuz. Chav Tammuz is the Yotzei of Theodor Herzl. I happen to know. I know a lot of things. Okay, but you collect these mishigas. It's an important thing to know. You should mamish be mechabed that person. I'm trying to say that. Okay, I'm trying to make you into Homo sapiens, not just being sapiens. Ayin Harari Vitim Tzanachas. I don't know if you've read the book. Okay, but this is serious. I'm very serious about that. Okay, here's your Mona Tishvei Meir. You on it? Okay, hello. So, I'm trying to say Tammuz is Shivasha Tammuz. Tammuz is Chav Tammuz. And Tammuz is Gimel Tammuz. It's another very important day. A great man would change the face of the world. Think of it 2 minutes. Do you plan that when you exit this world, the world will be a better place than when you entered it? Isn't that the purpose of your being here? Have you planned to somehow that your exit the world? I didn't say that you have to be known by anybody. I didn't say that you have to, hit the top 10 in a who's who in. Okay, that's just kindish. Okay? Is the world a better world, or the society a better society, or is X a better? Is something better because you were born? Anyway, what do you say about that? That's a project. But that's really what this is all about. I don't know if you know it. I don't know. Maybe I grew up that way. But all post-Holocaust kids are a bit, their screws are messed up. There are books on us. You can read them. There's whole books on post-Holocaust children. They're Bissl Meshuggah. They're workaholics. I know. I'm the lab rat. I know it. I know. Read all the books about myself. Meshuggah Afghanistan Cup. You know what I mean? They're obsessed. They're mad. Okay, thank God for them, because that world was recreated. So you live in paradise today. You don't know what it is to live in a world without that. But I think it's very important. Yeah, we have to know. We have your job is somehow the world has to be better because you were born. So at least you will know it, and you should celebrate your birthday. You should celebrate your birthday. You were born in this world, and the world will be better by the time you leave it, right? Hey, what would Wembley be without my friend Simon? No, I'm not joking when I say things. There's people there who have a better life because of a certain person that cares about them. Justifies his mother's morning sickness. No. Like David brings me coffee, makes me happy with his questions. I'm waiting for him to come to me now, not via Zoom to talk to me. I must be a grizzly bear. It's behind plastic. I can't hit. You understand? But I'm serious. The world's gonna see what happens. This is all Meir Retzky's fault. We're talking morals and ethics. Stop learning Gemara. I'll just end with a story, because I remember after learning Gemara. I think I told this one time. Sometimes you make remarks and you don't know what's going to hit you. And, I used to be a Magachir in a kollel in the afternoon in the Israel Center in Jerusalem after my shir in Camby Avner. I had a kvutza. His dad was there, by the way. And I used to learn with them the Masechta we learned in the yeshiva, but they were much more mature people. So I could deal with them with other aspects of the sugya, much broader. I would learn my Ramban's Balamores inside, those type of things. So I really had a lot of fun. So I used to finish here, go home, something like 6 o'clock. I got on a bus. The bus then was the 15 bus going to Har Nof. Now, next to Har Nof, I don't know if you know, there's a Mesifta for Bnei Nevi'im. We have Mamish, an institution there for Mamish for prophecy. It's a mental asylum. And it's the truth. So, okay, I have quite a few encounters with these people. One I love talking about, I'm not going to do it today. But the other one was here, I'm sitting down, I plop myself down on the bus, I'm tired, it's been a long day. And, it's Elul, so I blurt out to my mouth, no, midaf tshuvaton. Sometimes you ever say, sometimes you have to say that? No, you don't do it. Well, again, these crazy people that grew up in certain worlds. So, I plunk myself down on the chair. I say to him, midaf tshuvaton. All of a sudden, this guy next to me looks at me and says, Shumraf Maton. He starts screaming at me. Daf shel taisvis. You're supposed to peel a taisvis, he says. Shumraf Maton. You're supposed to take it by the Rajbo. He starts screaming at me in the bus. I said, it must have been earlier or not. That's all I know. I'd come there, Meshugana. He's my stomach from the institution, Bnei Nevi'im. And here I am, a younger manchikel in Elo, and I'm blurting to myself, Midaf tshuvaton. He screams, you idiot, go learn. Now you know where it comes from. This when I always said, let me up with this different agada. Okay, I learned this, from Rishi Zachal Lenevua. This man has a unbelievable. It was a very special experience. You should know. You think I take this very seriously. This there is a shgach pratis in the world. Okay, and this is even I say so. Is that there is a shgach pratis, and this is a freak occurrence, right? Ever happened to you? Ever happened to you? Never happened to anybody. It happened to me. What can I do? So the stomach, there's something there, okay? That I have to understand. The guy ever screamed at me in the bus. Yeah, okay. How can I dare think of that thing? You should be sitting and cracking. He said, "But shailen, that's the language. You should peel it. In Yiddish, shailen apple. You have to you peel an apple. You have to peel it. I love the usage. It was, it's a litvak nebuch that he lost his. He lost his ball bearings. Things were not doing well in his mind. Nebuch, he had something terrible happen to him, and but unbelievable. So I'm telling you, whenever people they ask me to do these divrei agad, they say I know how to do it. But cigarnish, without shell natoisvis. Don't you understand? The biggest Yerushalayim comes from Omer Latayr and Yegia and the Taisvis and the Rashba and the Ramban. That's where it all really comes from. That's the truth. I'm not sure. I don't know about you. This is that's the honest truth. Okay, let's enough wasted my time. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, so we started dealing yesterday with the Getter of Yaakov, and they basically explained that we see from this Rashbam and from the stump of the Gemara, there's an idea of Muxikani B'chashu B'chor. I'd like to now elaborate that more in the Yesod of the Halacha. We learned L'chayr from the Lashonis that we know that Yaakov is not a halacha of Edus. According to the Rashbam, it's not a halacha of Ne'emanus for itself. It's not an Ne'emanus that we can paskin with. It's an Ne'emanus which creates a Muxakus. And we paskin because it's a Muxakus. So your Ne'emanus is only to make a Muxakus. Here's an afkamina. Every Ne'emanus creates a Muxakus. Every aid creates an objective idea. Aid echad creates an objective idea as far as Yisurim are concerned. Shnei Eidim create an objective idea as far as Davar is concerned. Davar Sheba Maman, Davar Sheba Yichus, Davar Sheba Erva. I say Davar Sheba Yichus because they see free rights, and on the pasuk in Dvarim Yotes, Al Pi Shnei Eidim Yakum Davar. So the free rights. La Halais L'Kouna V'Lo Hayrid Min HaKouna. The idea of Ben Grusha Ben Chlutza to decide a person's a cholo is not a cholo. Minayin Talmud Leimer L'Chol Chet. Asher Yechte Minayin different Maman Asher Yechte. So this free right Takem Fush brings a list of the different words in the drasha there and point out each one of them is to teach another aspect. So Enoch the Bavli that doesn't say that on Maman. It only says Davar Mammon. Doesn't point out which word in the pasuk is talking about Mammon, but there's a free says it comes to the word Asher Yechte. Okay, I'm not a mumche in drashis. I don't know why this word that we discussed this once in a while, but we didn't come up with any mafteach. So at the end of the day, it comes from a pasuk. So we know there's a din of edus on gomer on Yichus L'Kuna. Obviously, there's no logical difference in Yichus L'Kuna and Yichus Mams is also the Agapos L'Kuna. Okay, it's a psul ba'alma, but it's also a psul kuna. Imam is also a cholo, big Jewish rajba on that. But this is not negated to you. It's a sugi in the 6th period but that's what it's talking about. And there's also davar for mom, and there's also davar for arayis, etc., etc. So if that's the case, we understand. So what is this halacha? Is Yaakov that din? Is halacha? Is Yaakov a din of ne'emanus like edus? The answer is every edus creates a yokum davar. It creates substantiates thing, and now it's mukzak. Now, the meaning is once edus is chakur bebezdin, and I say edus that this was chakur bebezdin. I'm not talking about saying. I'm not saying edus on the testimony of the people. The testimony allowed the bezdin to be machzik it, to mekayim it. It's now a matzav muchzuk. And I'm saying that this is a fait accompli. It's a fact. It's a legal fact. As soon as there's edus, chakur, and bezdin, So this information becomes a legal fact. I am testifying that there's a legal fact. I don't anymore have to tell me why is it a legal fact, because they went to court and they were this, and it's none of my business anymore. It's the same thing applies to a star. If you know what the star is, Mekuyim and Beznei, star Mekuyim, even if the star was Nisra or Nevat, the din is, as soon as it's a Maisa Bezdin, this is a legal fact. I made on the legal fact. That's the halacha. Okay, star Shanisra, so you can be made on the Maisa Bezdin if there was a hempik, etc., and it's enough. So this is the same thing. So every edus creates a yakum davar. That's what yakum davar means. It's machzik. Now the thing is that even edus, which is eid echad, is also makes a yakum davar as far as what's concerned. Once the eid echad was made in Bezdin, or at least through Bezdin. Okay, this has to be very important to understand. Oh, you don't need Bezdin, but it's mukzik. How's it mukzik when he tells it in the street? Here's the question on the table. And when does this happen? So Lamaisa, here's something very important. This will be a remiss to whatever goes further. The klal is, the Ran Rice and Tshuva, I sent it to you on your phone today. Ran Rice and Tshuva, the Shmeitzer elaborates on it a bit. I sent the little excerpts of the Shev Shmeitzer for you to read. I'll tell you about that. What it says is the Shev Shmeitzer, that the Balak Sois and the Balak Sois Balav Meluim, he has a book that he wrote, was a young man, called Shev Shmeitzer, which afterwards he edited it because he writes there what I wrote in Sois, which is later, but the original thing was written when he was in his teens. Okay, so the Shmeitzer writes over there, Shmeitzer Vav, it's in Perik Yud Gimel and Yud Dalet. He brings two tshuvas of the Ran. One is Tshuva Lamed Beis, and the other is Tshuva Mem Zayin, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, what does this start from? I'm going to show you something which is going to help me clarify things. Let me quote, the Ran quotes a Tosefta in Sanhedrin. Tosefta in Sanhedrin in Perik Vav. You have it in your phones if you want to look for it. If not, you can believe me. The Tosefta is in Sanhedrin in Perik Vav, Brisa Vav. And this is what the Sanhedrin says. The price. Eina edim yichayim lachzu b'hem ad shetichaka edusin lebezdin. Nechkre edusin lebezdin en yichayim lachzu b'hem. You can only be chayzer. Edim can retract on the statement only until chakir bebezdin. Once it was chakir in bezdin, they can't retract. Zeklalo shel davar. Edim she'idu. Now listen carefully. L'tamai v'l'toher. That's not davar. That's isurim. L'rachek v'l'karev. Steht nicht kemam l'stom. Ret da nicht l'charev wegen davar shebe'erva. L'esav v'l'hatir. Steht stama. It's including edus of isurim. And lav davke by ischazik isur that needs two edus. Right? Liftoy v'lachayev. Oh, this goes into Einshim, Einshi Aguf, Karbanis, Mamain. This is all the davars that we have in the drasha. So now there's all types of edus. What do we say? Ad shelei nechkre edusan v'amru muvodim ha'anu harei elu ne'emanim. Before the chakira of the edus, they can say, we were lying, and they will be believed. Das statement for ish. If there's no din of kivit sheikid tshuva in the chayzer magid, what's the halacha? You're believed with the second statement. It's an old question which the Achronim asked. It's usual. It's often a Tosefta. The Achronim asked the question: if without the din of kivit sheikid tshuva in the chayzer magid, what would the halacha be? Would you take the second statement? Or would you say, no, I have two statements and they're both legal testimony. It's a suffix called treyu trey. So here it says in Furshin Tosefta that before Drisha V'chkira, where there is no din of kivit shugid shur d'chayzer magid, you're believed with the second one. But this is not much of a raya because there was no Drisha V'chkira, so the first one isn't edus yet. And now you're believed because it's not edus. This is not a raya. The question would be after Drisha V'chkira. I'm pointing this out. So l'chayra, what does it say? What do we say? Now let's understand carefully. Is there a din drisha v'chira by edus isurim? No. Is there a din drisha v'chira by edus isha? No. Is there a din drisha v'chira by mominus, by idois v'alvos? Somebody learn Sanhedrin here? Tav Gimel Amud Aleph, right? B'dirabbanan, because of Tachanus 11, there's no drisha v'chira by that either. So there's no problem of keeping shigid shu nechayzer magid by this. You can paskin up whatever you want, and then after you paskin and you were chayiv, then the guy says, "Oops, sorry, mevudim ayinu." Is that true? Is that what this is after saying? And what is this is after saying? There's a concept of drisha v'chakir ba'edus yisurim. What are we talking about? You don't even need bezdin. I don't understand. Any person which is married goes with shilas if it is needed to the local rav. You have a suffix in Hilchos Shabbos, you go to Bezdin, you go to Beri, you go to, what's the name, Rubenstein, right? They don't see the Moshe of Bezdin. Okay, was tut sich da? Was steht in der Tosefta? In der Tosefta steht, the Chayra, look, the Ran has asked this question. The Ran has asked this question. I'm just going to summarize it because this is a big yesod. So the Ran, I mean, yeah, I'm very happy to see Dr. Ran. It's as I come to for Ran, okay? That's what the Chayra comes out of the Ran. You'll look it up. I sent it to you. I sent you the Shmaitzes. You'll see it. He quotes the Chuvas Ran verbatim. That's why I sent one thing over there, because that's worth seeing. So the Ran basically says one thing. He says the idea of Drisha V'chir is what we call Gemar Ha'edus. There are certain halachas where the Gemar Ha'edus, can we really paskin with this? Is this information of evidence that we can base our halachic psak on, and there isn't it? So whatever you need la halacha Drisha V'chir, basically as soon as you finish the Edus, until you process it through Drisha V'chir, it's what we call mikvah stories. You know, the stuff you pick up if they swear. You know, give me the towel, Maisalach, you know, in the mikveh, they tell you stories, okay? Aber the chveist so never passion, okay? Mashenkin by Yisurim, you don't need Drisha V'chira, so no, as soon as you said it, that's information that I can paskin with. So certain information needs processing, certain information does not need processing. It's very simple. So Midir did it, Midiraisa didn't Mamnus need processing. Midir it doesn't need processing. Okay, so as soon as he said it, you can paskin with it. But what happens? What are we talking about? So the Ran comes out of Devar Pashit. When you said this in the courts, in a Bezdin, so Bezdin's going to paskin, a psak of a Maisa Bezdin, that's a Davar Cholu. That finishes. So when did your Edus finish? What happened to you? Did you serve? You made Yisurim in Bezdin. And Bezdin's Maisa Psak din, that's when your testimony finally is finished. In other words, you can finish the testimony either by Drisha V'chira, or you can finish the testimony if we paskin with it. If you told me a story in the court that didn't paskin, it is weitergegangen. If there's Drisha V'chira in Bezdin, so he says the word Drisha V'chira here is lav dafka the Ran. It means Gemar Ha'edus. It means Gemar Ha'edus. There is no Drisha V'chira by Yisurim. There is no Drisha V'chira by the Tar Meid. There's no Din Drisha V'chira. And when the Tosefta writes Drisha V'chira was being Gemar Ha'edus. When is Gemar Ha'edus? So when you're in court, so when there is Drisha V'chira, that's the Gemar Ha'edus. When you're not, when you are in court and there is no Drisha V'chira, what's the Gemar Ha'edus? When we actually paskin with it. That's when the testimony ceases to be testimony. That's when the testimony becomes the basis of a psak. When you did Drisha V'chira, it goes to an interim stage. It moves away from story into evidence, which is the possibility of making a psak. Here we don't have that process. So what's the process? The psak is best. So Einachanami, if you paskin with it, Einachanami will say Kivin Sheikin Shuvin. No one paskin with it, that's not Gemara Edus. This is how the Shmaitza understands the Ran. I do suggest reading the Ran itself. The Ran itself is a shtickle mashma. The Edus in front of Bezdin, he doesn't mention the psak. I'm going to say it clearly. He says Edus in front of Bezdin, but the Shmaitza has a good case. I sent it to you. Obviously, you didn't see it now. Hopefully, during the weekend, you'll look at your phones. Before Shabbos, Lav Malka, and you'll see, and you'll come to I think you'll agree with his muskana. It's very logical. Whatever it's a davar pashat. Now, in other words, this is lav dafke halacha of edus. So when we say kivin sheigit shuvin nechayzer or magid, it's not just a halacha in edus. It's halacha in anything which is mechazik and metzias, which allows us to paskin a shayla with. So when you see the usage of the words kivin sheigit shuvin nechayzer or magid, it's got nothing to do with the Torah's edus per se, which is found by the pasuk pishnai medim yakum davar. Isurim and Bezin is not a Torah Edis, it's a Gilur Milsa B'Yalma. We all know that. Isurim is not a din of Edis in the classical sense. That's why it doesn't need Bezin. But if the Edis of Isurim came to Bezin, and now there's going to be a psak based on it, that gives it a idea. Okay, there's something that happened here that finished. That's what the Ran says. That's the big Yisod coming out of the Tshuva Saran Lamed Beis and Mem Zayin. The nafkamina is going to be, if that's the case. Now, there's a very famous, it is actually famous, a very famous Milchamas Hashem, Ramban, in the third parak of Kedushin, Ha'aymer. We're dealing here with the halachas of Ne'emanus, of Kidashti is Biti. You're never to be chayz to say, I did it, who did I have a kasher with? Did I not do it? As masla, only different halachas, which are neged to the sugya of Yaakov. Can you retract, etc.? It's a sugya that you started learning. You know, Kuf Chav Zayin on the base deals with a person retracting from Yaakov. Okay, what's the halacha? So there's a very famous lashon of Rambam one I want to read to you. It's an Oiz V'Hadar page Ayin Hey, the Milchamas Hashem, the first paragraph, which always starts Omer HaKaisef, so that's not a big deal. Literally middle of the line, I want to read something. It's a very dramatic statement. Ani tameh beikar dina shelo matzinu batalmud. Listen carefully. Neman v'yachol lachzor bo. Lo matzinu batalmud. Neman v'yachol lachzor bo. He's not talking about edis. Any neman. Even neman and kidashti is biti. Okay. And matzinu kol ater neman v'yachol lachzor bo. Elokol shed neman. Kivan gid shuv eino chozer umagid. A very important sentence and usage of the sentence, allowing you now to mitzvah when you read the Rashbam by us in Kuf Chav Zayin, you won't be led to think this is a right. It's a din of edus and a din of kivin sheigit baba ma'isula. It means one broad thing. Lo matzinu nemon. That means that we can paskin with you, and so to speak, you can be chayzer umagid. Now, the Ran takes it only talking about specifically if it came to court. We're going to see in Mir Tashem that it's not dafka. It doesn't have to be that long. Even Yakir. Now, Yakir also has to come to court. Me'ikar adin, to be mevarer yichus of somebody, it has to come to court. It's a davar. To mevarer Yerusha, chukas mishpat. Anybody learn the Gemara beginning of Nochlin? To be mechalik Yerusha, you need a bezdin. So the edus of the Yaakov has to come to court. So l'chai, it's quite understood that the father came to court and said, edus of Yaakov, it can't be chayzer. So that's another pasha. Problem is, we have a reality that he did it beforehand. What happens can be chayzer before he came to court. Now that could only make sense if something already was nigmar and happened. So what would it be? And the answer what would be, you were machzik it. There's enough kamina. In other words, to be machzik with Yakir, as it says, lav dafka needs to come to court. As soon as you said it, you were machzik it. Masha'engim came by regular edus. You're not machzik it until we paskin it in court. And thus, I can know why am I saying this? Now I'm going to show you a Rashbam. The Rashbam writes in Kuf Chav Zayin. This is to strengthen what I said yesterday. Zot the Rashbam, the Gemara says as follows in Kuf Chav Zayin Amid Beis. Tana Rabbana. Second half of the page. Hayu muchzakim bo shu b'chor. Ba'amar aviv al acher shu b'chor neman. Okay. Hayu muchzakim bo she'eno b'chor. Ba'amar aviv b'choru eino neman. So the Gemara ratio of you to say for Rabbana. That's let go. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Amar bnihu, v'chazai v'amar avdihu, ein neman. If you first said bni V'chazer me'avdi ein neman. Zogt Rashbam. Let's read this carefully. V'chazer me'avdi bein b'toich kedei dibur bein la'achar zman. Even toich kedei dibur, what do we say? Ein neman. V'achar kein al oise shomer b'tchila b'ni ein neman. B'may da'omer ashta avdi. V'leka l'meimer hod karli b'tchila b'ni. Mishum de oyev kibnoi, de ein derech likres la'avdei b'noi. Hilkach achar taina rishoina neilech. Achar taina rishoina neilech. The pashas were saying this is in court. He doesn't call it edus, he calls it taina rishoina. Please underline the word taina. The hoyel v'zoysa achreina eno pirush ki'im akchasha reminds you of a sugya in the third parak. This is the din of Tayyid v'chayzer v'tayin. This is a eno pirush akchasha. Ein lanu leilach acher taina achreina. We don't follow the taina achreina. Why? Now here he explains the akir. The haidos piv emina Torah. Doesn't say edus. It says haidos piv emina Torah. I know how to read, right? It says haidos piv, that which he notifies through his mouth. Okay, haidos piv emina Torah. What he takes out of his mouth, what we believe. B'mayda omer b'ni kidichsiv yakir. So it's a get of haidos piv emina Torah, which the Rashbam described before as a taina, not as an edus. So far we're doing well. The kivin shehigid shuv ein chayzer v'magid. I mean, what did you just do? Haidos piv taina, and now you're telling me kivin shehigid shuv ein chayzer v'magid, which is a language comes straight out of the language of edus. That tells after we read what we just read. That's not true. The idea is very simple. Anything which creates a status, which is something which creates a matzav muzuk. For example, if hypothetically you were an eid echad, which is made in Bezdin on Yisurim, that's machzikit. You can't be chayzer. That's the Tshuva Sarana just taught you. Okay, very simple. Now yakir. So here, b'mikra, we're talking in the case where he said it in Bezdin. We're going to see 2 minutes a little further down the road. Okay, we say it's halacha. What do we call it? We don't call it edus. We call it haidos piv emina Torah. And what do you say? Kivin sheigid shuvin nechayzer magid. Does that language imply a din of edus? We know that's not true. It's just like God the ne'emanus she'emina Torah. You just called it taina, and you're going to say it's edus. You just called it haidos piv, and you're going to call it edus. The teretz, it's as simple. The idea of kivin sheigid shuvin nechayzer magid is because any ne'emanus she'emina Torah. That's the lashon of the Ramban and the Milcham is call it an eman she'emina Torah. Once you said it, we can't be chayzer. That's a cloud. Why? Because once again, what is the idea behind kivin sheigid shuvin nechayzer magid? The idea is because halacha cannot be up in the air and constantly be reshuffled. We need stability. It's as simple as that. This is a Sforah found, you recall, Shita Kubetzis and Ritva in Ksubas Yudches. Rashi says, why kivin sheigid shuvin nechayzer magid hagoda achas amar Rachmana, which is open to debate of what it means. Ein shum b'meiri. The Ritva says it's very simple, because if you wouldn't have that, it's pandemonium. How can you paskin the halacha? After you paskin, Ramachayev, Dave's going to say, no, oops, I made a mistake, or I was lying. What are you going to do then? So either it's going to be trey, or you're going to believe the second one. Take your pick at the moment, I don't care. Okay, and what are we going to say? That's it. So here you have it very clear. That's not that's the reason. We can't, anything which the Torah believes, which is a basic, that we can now paskin with it, we're machzik it, we paskin with it. I'm sorry, there's no way that you can retract this. So is this based after if they paskin with it, like the Schweitzer, or even something which is in court, even if they didn't paskin? That's the Schmeitz is mechadish. He thinks only if they paskin. I'm not sure if that's true in the Rishon. Whatever is in Bezdin, but therefore it's muhzuk, that's already called done. You remember, as soon as Bezdin said, yes, we have a couple aids that this is Ish Chalif, it's Chalif. Okay, that's Mafzik, that's what Yuchzuk. So the same thing applies to the Chayra over here when the father comes to court and he says what he said, he's Mafzik, and as soon as he's Mafzik, that's the halacha. We say Kivin Shigid Shchuz Magin. That's why we're saying sorry. We're not going to overturn the halacha. Kivin Shigid is not a halacha in Edus. Kivin Shigid is an halacha of the basis of Psak halacha. That's what it is. The Gemara in Ksubis Yud Chesron Abbei said it's totally. Why do we say Kivin Shigid Shuvin Chesron Magid? Because the Gemara says because Edim Achsumim Al Ashtar Nasa Kimishenechkra Edusan Bebezdin. And therefore, they can't retract from a shtar. Why? Because it's nasa kami shenechkra edusim bebezin. So it's mashma, it's talui in trisha v'chkira, which it is. We saw that in the first in the Tosefta and Sanhedrin, Perik Vav, Price of Vav. But that the Ran explained to us, and obviously the Ramban takes the same approach. Don't look. It only means because that's the Gemara Edus. Whatever needs trisha v'chkira is Gemara Edus. Whatever doesn't need Drisha V'chkira and Bezin can pass without, that's also called Edus Gemara. One has to understand that and take that into account and don't make rayas from this anyway saying this is a din of Edus. This is a din of Ne'emanis B'yama to be Mazik. That's what this is. It's a Ne'emanis for Achzaka. It's not a Ne'emanis, it's not an objective Ne'emanis of I believe you. No, you through your Ne'emanis, because you're whatever you are, you're capable of being marzik. This what it's a davar pashit. As the Meiri said in Sanhedrin, it's the ikar ha'edus. Why is it ikar ha'edus? Because normal people don't have two witnesses in the delivery room, which are two schorim. We bring in two witnesses every time by every lady to find if it's a boy, it's a boy. That would be called ishtikla milsad leishchich. I think, right? Okay, so where is the typical, how are we supposed to know a guy's a b'chor? Well, b'chor, the father. Only one way, the father says. There's no other way. That's the way, and that's why it says, Ikra Edus. Of course you can find it through Edom. The possibility, it's going to be in the Chassan there, but you can do it through Edom. Yeah, okay, the simplest way is through a father. That's the way to do it. That's why the Iker's Yaakov Kireno. His father does it. It's a davar pashut. Okay, so since this is the Iker way of being mazik, is the Torah said, I need someone to be mazik. And the Torah says that the father be mazik, because that's Iker ha'edus ha'abchor ba'av. That's exactly the lashon of the Meiri in Sanhedrin Daf Lamed. It's a svar. I'm sure it's quite a very logical svar. Okay, now in light of this, let's go find it right with this Rashbam here. So what is he? This is what he says. So he teaches us this halacha. Now go to the second brisa. Go to the brisa weiter. Again, Amar Rabbi Yechon, Amar Bniyu v'chazav Amar Avdi enu Ne'eman. Avdihu v'chazav Amar Bniyu Ne'eman. Why? The mishamish leika avda kama. Sometimes say he's my son is like my servant. Okay, I guess that was a very nice thing to hear. So Mamela, so that's why he called him Avdi, but he really meant Bni. People call their son an Eved, they don't call their Eved their son. That's what the Gemara says. Weiter. B'chilufei abei sameches. What's this? Hoya abei sameches. V'amar b'nihu. Now there's a very interesting lashon Rishonim. I don't know where it is. Is it here? The lashon is over there that the minig was that they would lie not to pay taxes. There's one of the Rishonim. The minig. Oh yeah, I remember seeing it once. It was like very funny. Let's see if I can find it. Where one of the Rishonim says, yeah, this was the minig. It was a normal minig not to pay taxes. So you wouldn't say on your bed, you would say you'd call him an Eved. Okay, this way you wouldn't have to pay taxes. We have to find it. It's one of the Rishonim here that say this. Okay, so what does it say here? Amar b'niu v'chazav Amar avdihu neman. Amar avdihu v'chazav b'niu einay neman. Zok the Rashba. V'chaz of Amar B'ni Ne'eman. V'may Damar Hashta B'ni. The Ein Sois Dvar Rishana El Mefarish. Who Avdi the Kamar B'ni V'hay the Kamar Avdi Tisha Misham Shel Yosem Midai Kilu Avda etc. Oh, Al Beis Hameches. The Sham Rogel Likar LaAvdi B'noi Lavricha Min Hameches. Avo Livnoi Lo Yikar LaOlam Avdoi Sharigarim LaAtzra Hefsid Al Chino. That's the chayes on the Eved you have to pay, so that's the cloud. So the Avdoi B'noi, because for B'noi he doesn't have to pay, for the Eved he has to pay. I don't know exactly how these taxes work, and therefore that's what it is. There's no way you're going to call them the opposite. You're paying money for it. You don't do that. Abeis Hamech l'shem l'kol l'avdi b'nei l'vichman hamechis avadoi lo yikor lo'elam avdi she'yigam la'atzma hefshel achinam v'omar b'ni el ha'meichsim v'chaz v'omar avdi kishe'over misham b'hala. Okay, now I said b'ni, and now I'm going to say avdi. Okay, nemon b'may d'chaz v'omar avdi v'vadid mi korev v'kor libni b'shu yiras hamechis. We understand he called him b'ni because normal people don't want to pay taxes. So they're going to say that. This is the Gemara. Ask yourself the question, what's the problem? This wasn't in Bezdin yet. Doesn't apply. Doesn't apply. So let's see what happens let's understand carefully. What would be the din if it would apply? If it wouldn't apply, what would the din be? If it would be edus? What would we tell you? Two possibilities on the table. Either we're going to believe the second one, it's going to be a suffix of tray, a stira, and be shot for suffix. So let's see what happened over here. Does that shot in this Gemara mean he's not believed to make a suffix? If this be written in the Rashbam, I'll eat my hat. Doesn't say it. Me to say I believe you, and we don't take the first one, or I don't believe you, and we keep the first, and I don't believe in the second one, and we keep the first one. What happens? Why it's not in Bezdin yet? It's not in Bezdin yet. And the answer is a double pashet, because didn't we learn the previous page? It's just you see a father calling his son Buchra Suchla, or say, hey, coach. What's his name? Shikchas Bni. I got the son Shikchas. So that's the idea. Yeah, forgetful one. Okay, the forgetter. Take my son forgetter. His saliva is very cool. Okay, that's also magzik. If not, it would be ABP8. So it's before that Yaakov is magzik even without Besdin. The Yaakov is magzik even without Besdin. So even if you're going to say that was the Chuvas Iran, that normally you'd have to have either Edis in Besdin, etc. Because how do we explain it? Because once it's in Besdin, and Besdin Paskins Aloch, it's mukzik. It's already become something which is decided, finalized, then it's finished. That's how the Shmaitzer wants to understand that Ran, that the Sefter that has mentioned before. But here we see clearly by Yaakov that even without that, there seems to be a din of what? That you're mosik already. And we would say, even outside of the court. That's what I want to point out. Even outside of the court, we're going to do this. And that is when the Ran used, although the previous Rashbam, when the Rashbam discussed and mentioned the word Kibin Shigit Shuvna Chazer Magid, he's talking about a case, the Chayr, that they were in Bezdin. That's the Chayr of the case. Okay, first he said X, and then he said Y. Where? Pashto, you'd say you're talking in Bezdin. Where else are you supposed to say testimony on the B'chor? Wherever for Yerusha, you deal with it in Bezdin. Chukas Mishpat is supposed to be in Bezdin. The whole sugya of Edna Sedayin, etc., is in Bezdin. Okay. But this is just a story of people going through the customs. This is, so what's the problem here? Yes, believe, not believe. What do you mean? I'm saying what I said. You are believed. It means you're believed. You believe with Namasla. You believe to say the reason I said this because of the reason X. Why do we need the Amasla? Because if not, you can't retract. Why can't you retract? The answer is because it's muhzik already. It's muhzik already. Once it's muhzik, you can't undo it. That's what it means. You have in the months to be machzik, your words are machzik. Now this comes very interesting. In other words, Bishlay, there's a big aside here. It means now, is it your words or mean your Torah's edus? You didn't even say it as edus. You called him John Doe, remember? Or you said it to the Meches man. That's not edus. It's a taina. Your taina is machzik. Your taina is machzik. So that's the case. You shouldn't. It's a question. Are you looking at nemanos, which is machzik, or you're saying words are machzik? So if you look carefully about this, you'd come to a conclusion with the Rashbam is saying, it's sicher not regular nemanos. Don't even dream about it. It's not even nemanos, which it's not like the Merach Azur, it's a regular din of edus, nemanos, but we are machzik. And therefore, if there's a suffix in the edus, we have a suffix, and therefore, what's muzik is a suffix. The Rashbam clearly says, no, unless you gave us something to work with that we can work with, it's not muzik at all. It's meaningless. There's not even a suffix. Why? Because the only thing you have is the capability of making a muzik. Now, here's still two possibilities. Doesn't mean that it's a nemanos for hachzaka. Not that we believe you, period. No, your nemanos is limited for making hachzaka. That could be the pshat. But that would only make sense if pshat is there's a certain nemanos that you said it somewhere. You said it between nemanos. He didn't say it for that. Here you're talking Bucher Sukla. You're calling him, I don't know what, the kid with the saliva. Ich verstehe nicht. This is called an edus. What? Well, first thing, you know what? Let me do this, and then you'll do the other side. Okay? You notice I'm medayik things from Rash, from Lashon Rashbam, etc. So how do I know? How is he going to? We'll deal with it. I'm trying to understand the Rashbam himself. It's very clear the Rashbam when he calls it taina. He calls it a dashpiv, okay, which is not a lashon of edus in any fashion, form, or size. Taina, a dashpiv are not lashonis of edus, lashon of taina. Okay, claims. Okay, it's a claim. Does it have to really be a claim in court? No. Even if the fact that you opened your mouth and used it in a certain way creates a certain status. So it's even when you don't claim, it's not as if a claim is believed and therefore creates the status. No, you are just like a kol delay pasuk. Explains whether, if you have constant vocal expression of common norm, okay, creates a halachic reality, right? We say, hey, this is John's son. He's muzik as a son. Why? Because that's what people say. Go look what people say, and that creates a certain social status. Okay, that's what we know. Kol Pasi. Ezra Rashbam quotes it. Okay, Kol Ba'alma is also mamzik. So you have a din that the kol being mighty through the father, or not even the edus, the words of the father are mamzik. Then the word taina makes sense. Then the word etc. And then I can understand there's even a tzad you need an amasla. You need an amasla. You need a way of explaining. You allow you to retract if you give a explanation. Why? Why do you need an amasla? Because otherwise you're musik already. Because if it wasn't musik already, what's the sweat? I retracted. What's the problem? By edus you would retract. Without that, you would, if you would never did a keep shigid shum magid, you would retract. And we believe you. So what happens over here? Why didn't you ask? I wasn't in court yet. I said X. I said Y. Did anybody think for a moment that because the person without dinner keep shigid, we would be? I repeat, yes, there's a flaw which times it's tray, which is not stomach the Rishon. If you had one time, you believe it the second time. Just as your belief to say this happened, your belief to say I lied. You say I said Taina A. Now I retract Taina A. I'm saying Taina B, and I'm saying I lied. As much as you believe me on Taina B, believe me that I lied on Taina A. There's A. It's not a suffix. Why would there be a suffix? Believe me on Taina B, and believe me that I lied on Taina A. What's the problem? Okay, the teretz is the double pasha. You don't need a master. You have to explain. The teretz is not that way. Because we see here in Mefurish, it's not that way. Why? Because it's not halacha in Eidus and Ne'emanus. It's halacha once you express a certain vision of reality, that creates a halachic reality. You're the kol d'lei pasuk. And since you're the kol d'lei pasuk, you can make a muchzik, you make a matzav gomer, as we'll say, in these halachas, and therefore it's a repulsion. Once it's made, how can you possibly now go and do it? We'll track that. That's where's that Galashon of Kivish Higit Shunachazamag? It really means to say, once you believe to make a matzav muchzik, of course we can't take away from matzav muchzik. That's the thinking of Kivish Higit Shunachazamag. It's not halacha in Eidus. It's halacha. The halacha, once it's been ratified and substantiated, you can't overturn it. There's the Maaseh lashon like that in the Mukhe Yosef. Mukhe Yosef writes on that sugya. On the sugya of Kuf Chav Zayin Amid Beis, in Oiz V'Hadar page Kuf Nun Gimel on the Rif. Again, quoting the Rif, quoting the Gemara, Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Omar B'ni V'Chazav Omar Avdi Hu Einay Ne'eman. Look at the Mukhe Yosef at the bottom of the page on the right side of the last paragraph on the right column of the right column. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Einay Ne'eman, Einay Yochel La'akam Mimenu Nachla, Kivan She'ikirai V'Amar Bnihu Shelo Nosan Lo Ya'atayra Avchana Acher Avchana. Havchana means to be mavchin, to choose between the children. What you call havkor, akor means akor between. Lavchin is to ascertain, to verify between the lot who's the bchor. Okay, he calls it havchana. Okay, to chair. Okay, so you can't verify after you verified. Why not? Shelei nasan le'atayra havchana acha havchana. What are those words? V'kivan she'yigid shuvay nechayzer magid, because he only has one avchana, he doesn't have two. Now, what's the idea of shalei masla to avchana? He has a pasuk for this. What's this? Yaakov said it. Why can't I retract? The Teretz says that the pasuk, but you don't have avchana after avchana. What does it mean? Because after the first avchana, he's already muvchan. Be mavchin someone which was muvchan. He explains himself the lumps. There's no havchana after havchana. Why? Because once you're a mavchin, if something is verified, so it's already verified. Okay, you can't now verify the verified reality. There's no such thing. You can only verify to make a verification. Whether it means to say where there is no chazak or even to negate the chazak and nicha, but you can't verify something which you verified. Bishlem, if you have a son outside chazaka, we have a spur to say that the havchana of the father is bigger than all other chazakas. This we have tanoim like this. If Yehuda thinks that's true, that the havchana of the father is bigger than all other havchanas. Why? Because that's the ikar ha'edus, the ikar mavchin, the ikar machzik of the identity of a child is the father, as we saw in the Meiri. And that's why Rabbi Yehuda Taka says that einachinami. That even if there's chazakas that this child is the b'chor, you can say no, the other one is the b'chor. You can be mavchin even against a chazaka. Why? Because you are the Mister making of the mukzik. That's your job. You're not nemun against the chazaka. You're the maker of the chazaka, and the chazaka you make is overwhelmingly more important than the chazaka of the chazakas. Once we understand that the father is nothing more than what we'll call a chazaka maker, so now the question is, which chazaka is dominant? You have two chazakas. They're seiser. Which one is dominant? So the klal is, we say yakiranu lachem means to say that yes, this is dominant. Lashon lemiri ikar ha'edus bekach. It's very simple. There's no avchana after avchana. This is the getter over here. So we say kivin she'igid shuna chayzer mag. What does he mean? It means it's never pasha. Once you're neman, it's a davar muzik. Once it's a davar muzik, of course you can't walk away from it. That's the klal of the halakha. Kivin she'igid shuna chayzer mag. Basically, what I've done today is to point out. Yeah, I know I see the clock. That's why I'm going to tie this up at the moment. I didn't read again yet. It doesn't matter. But this was all a tangent. But at the end of the day, we've clearly verified that which we said yesterday, that the getter of Yaakov, this according to Rashba, comes out to be definitely, it's nothing more than a mavchin. It's a machzik. That's the Loshe Murzikani, Beploini, etc. That's the getter of Yaakov. Luckily, passing Rabbi Yehuda, so all this obviously goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. We ain't finished yet. But definitely, luckily, passing Rabbi Yehuda, not Rabbanan. Okay, if you don't want to talk about it, I hope you should know by now. So this obviously goes a little bit of Yehuda. And that's the getter of the Allah. Again, by the fact that we're talking about in a masli, even by Beis HaMeches, and not even in front of a bezdin or anything which has to paskin. So we see it's not just a loch of ne'emanus from which to paskin, and the pshat of the psak bezdin will create the murzik. No, it's you live, you express yourself, you live with it, with that perception, and express that. That is machzikim. It's the equivalent of somebody living 30 days with a lady. A father relates to a child as a b'chor, that's machzik as a b'chor. So if that's the case, even the usage of the words ne'emanus are not accurate. Yeah, you're ne'eman, we believe you, we say, and therefore, why? Because, not because you were made, not a word of edus, it's a word because your words create this reaction. We trust you enough to say that what you say is machzik. But it doesn't even have to be a Maisa Bezin. It doesn't have to be in a kavanah of edus. It doesn't have to be in front of a Rav or a Dayan or anything. Okay, this is the yesod that we're coming. That's the yesod of the Rashbam when the Rashbam said, well, if we're not sure what you meant, so nothing happened. Your whole tafkid is to create a solid perception of reality. If we don't know what you meant, nothing happened. That's what the Rashbam says. It's a suffix. Obviously, the Marachos understand it's a question of ne'emanus, which is machzik. Now the question only is, where's this ne'emanus? What we can do? What does it do with Beis HaMeches? How does that do anything? How does he learn that sugya? All these sugya. Well, we'll deal with that on Sunday. Okay. See you tomorrow.